Insider series for ASU London Accommodation. I think that some of you all might have already seen a little bit about what ASU London has organized for our students for accommodation. But the main purpose of this session is just to give a debrief for those who haven't yet had a chance to learn about it, and then any questions at all that you have, please feel free. At the end, we will leave ample time for questions, and just anything goes. Ask anything at all. Happy to provide clarity on whatever it is that you need. So without further ado, we'll move into just looking at the agenda a little bit. We'll discuss a bit about accommodation in London that we've organized for our students, curated, and then do a little bit of a quick YouTube video, which is our accommodation tour. You can watch that again at any time. It will just be on the ASU London YouTube site. And lastly, we'll have a Q&A session. So something to consider about studying in London is, which is a bit different maybe from a lot of other places, is that typically universities in London do not have their own dorms, and ASU London fits that mold of London universities. Being in the city, buildings are kind of, for accommodation, are run by independent providers. So you do have student accommodation, but it's not ASU London specific. There are what are called purpose-built student accommodation providers, and you will see the names of 4 of those providers listed here that we have partnered with to be able to offer you a curated set of accommodation options, because there are obviously way more than what we have curated for you, but we've tried to take a look at what would be the best options. There are obviously way more than what we have curated for you, but we've tried to take a look at what would be the best options, working with multiple providers, and to cater to really all the different preferences that students may have who are coming to join us at ASU London. So the 4 providers that we work with are called IQ. And you can search all of these student providers. They are on our accommodation page of our website, which I'll take you to in a bit. And we've worked with Fresh Student Accommodation, Unite Student Accommodation, and Urban Nest. So these are 4 providers that are very well recognized in London and around the UK. And as you can see, they provide really cool, hip student spaces, and in all different locations, so you can really pick a spot that works for you. One thing to note about London accommodation, and I'll just continue talking on this point as I move to the website, is that you won't typically find students living within 5 minutes walking distance of their academic buildings. Typically in London, there is a little bit of a commute that students have to do back to campus and back home, and that's not something out of the ordinary. I just wanted to emphasize that that's something anyone who is attending a university in London should expect. As you can imagine, London being one of the biggest cities in the world, the closer you go to the center, the more expensive pricing gets. And we are fortunate enough to have our campus location truly in the center of London. So you really do get that, global, cross-cultural experience by being where the campus is located. That being said, to live very close to our campus within walking distance also then means that would be a slightly more expensive option. But the good thing is that there are neighborhoods everywhere around London, which are, just as interesting, just as vibrant, and not as expensive if you're living a little bit further out from right in the center where our campus is. So this is what our accommodation page looks like. You can find it just by going to asulondon.ac.uk, and under the Study With Us tab, you'll find the accommodation page. We've written a blog which kind of goes into a bit more depth and detail on some of the best accommodation options that we have curated. And I would really recommend reading that because not everybody has the same preferences on what they want out of a place that they're going to live. And you do really get to have two distinct experiences as a student in London. You get two distinct home bases, your campus and the place where you have your accommodation. So the prices that you'll see on our website are all inclusive. So they include not just the room that you're living in, but you get access to a lot of shared facilities, utilities like laundry, the gym, and you also get resident support. So you have always got somebody on security at your building. You've always got the option to talk to a resident advisor. So a lot of other things are included in these prices, other than just the room that you're in. The rooms also come basically furnished. You can add your own furniture, of course, but this is just to say, as you think about the pricing, think about the fact that there is a lot of other things included other than just the space. Now, just a little bit more on the accommodation types. We've got in these purpose-built student accommodation buildings, typically two types of rooms. One is an ensuite room, which means you have your own bedroom and bathroom, but your kitchen space is shared with anywhere from 2 other people to 12 other people. But the size of the kitchen and the number of appliances in the kitchen and the seating area in that kitchen also increases as the number of people that you're sharing it with increase. So this is actually a great way, I think, to build a community. I think one of the most important things as a new student is to find that community and having these shared living spaces. The kitchen really does double as a shared living space too. A lot of them have, in addition to seating where you would eat, there's couches, there's TVs, so it is really a living space as well. There are studio room options as well, which means that you have your private bedroom, bathroom, and a kitchenette included in your room. So you'll be able to cook your own meals in that room. But that conversely to the ensuite rooms means that you don't have that big shared living space where you're consistently interacting with other students that live in the same flat block as you. So those are really the options that we'd love to direct you all towards, because at the end of the day, you'll be living with other students. Where we do have special agreements with providers, you will actually most likely be living with at least one other ASU London student in a flat block. Where we don't have those agreements, we can't guarantee it, but you'll still at least be around other students from other universities. So again, another great way to expand your network as you settle into a new place. Now, if the purpose-built student accommodation doesn't sound like that would be the choice for you, we have also partnered with University of London Housing Services to grant all of our prospective students and students joining us access to their portal where you can search for private accommodation that's not specifically student accommodation purposely built. And they have a whole host of services to help you along the process for private accommodation. But we really do encourage students to stay in purpose-built student accommodation because of all the interaction that you'll get with other students and all the support facilities that come with living in a building like that. So, as mentioned, that is the accommodation that we recommend. We looked at a number of different buildings from a number of different providers and considered a whole host of things: price, what they've got in terms of facilities, how long it's going to take to travel to the campus from that location, what's in the local area, what student reviews are saying about that particular building, and just, tried to get the best deals for you all. So we negotiated with a lot of these providers and we're able to negotiate with IQ student accommodation and Fresh student accommodation for discounted rates from what you would see on their own websites. We also really made an emphasis on the providers being safe and reputable providers. Always looked for the fact that they had on-site resident teams so that our students that were staying there would feel well supported. They also have their own community programming and events. So in addition to what you would get through ASU London programming and events, you also get the community building programming that happens within your purpose-built student accommodation building. The buildings, as I mentioned, are always secure. There's always security, and they all have to comply with the ANUK national code. They have to comply to have a membership with that, and it's the quality standard for the entire sector of purpose-built student accommodation. So I'll just walk through very quickly a few options that stick out as the best options, and then we'll leave you all to explore a little bit more about the options that you think would be best for you. As I mentioned with IQ, we have got preferred rates. So just look out on the website for anywhere where you see ASU London preferred rates. Yes, that means that you're getting a better price than what you would get just booking with them directly. And there's details on how to book through those preferred rates. As long as you just contact one of us at ASU London, we'll be able to give you that information. You'll see that, we have found an option that is within walking distance, but a lot of the options are also a little bit longer travel time via train. The great thing about London is that it's super well connected with public transport. So you'll be able to, there's a lot of the time multiple options for ways that you can get from your accommodation to campus and around London in general. There's, we've got some options that are a bit more affordable, some options that are a bit further out of the hustle and bustle of the city if you prefer a bit more green space. If you're really looking for that classic London, almost Bridgerton-like feel, you have options that are in classic London areas like Victoria, which is super close to Buckingham Palace. And then, new developing areas that are kind of on the edge of London, but really growing. We have an option here, Unite Stratford 1. It's really a huge building with a lot of students, and it's right next to a really big shopping mall. So if there's any, attractiveness in that to you, that would be a great place to stay. And we also have a beautiful riverside option, which again has preferred rates. So anything that is fresh accommodation or IQ student accommodation will have preferred rates, and you will likely be in that building with at least one other ASU London student, if not more. So with that, I will just play a very quick video that we've got on our YouTube page, and then I will open it up to any questions from anyone. Just let me know if you were able to hear, or if you cannot hear, just give me.
This is just one of the student accommodation options.
All right. So that is what we have prepared for just showing you today, but really we'd like to invite, any and all questions you have, please. Nothing at all is, oh, I've just seen the message saying there's no sound. Well, truth be told, you didn't miss out on too much except a little bit of music. I think the text pretty much covered what was being shown in the video. I will right now drop the link for the video into the chat so that you all can check it out on your own time. And please do ask any questions at all that you may have. I'm here to answer them as to the best of my ability. And if there's anything that, I am unsure about, I'll be sure to, work with our providers to get you that answer as quickly as possible.
Anya.
Hi there.
Hi, have you lived in any of these yourself?
So I have not lived in, I myself studied in the USA, but my entire family, other than me, so my siblings, studied in London or very close to London. So my two sisters both went to university in London, both stayed in student accommodation, purpose-built student accommodation, one in Unite, one in IQ, not in the buildings specifically that we've got listed here. But I've, experienced being in those buildings. I've gone to stay over with them a couple of times, and I really think it's a great experience for students. I would say it's the most like having your own dedicated dorms. That's the closest you're going to get to it in London. And I've visited each and every single property that is listed on that website. I've looked through every type of room that they have on offer. I've looked at all the facilities that they've got. And, have to preface this by saying that whatever you choose as your accommodation option has to be right for you. We have deemed these to be suitable in an effort to give you as much information as you possibly can. So I've never lived in them, but I've seen them, everything that's listed there, I've seen in person myself.
Thank you.
I had a question.
Yeah.
I'm a second year currently at ASU London, but I'm going into my third year next year. And when I was viewing before, I went to a lot of Unite ones around the new city campus, and a lot of them said like, "Oh, this one's reserved for first years of city." So my question is there like, are these accommodations, are any of them specifically only for first years, or is it
No,
just for everyone?
so everything that we've got listed, we can confirm would be available to any year group at ASU London. The way that these like booking blocks that you're talking about works is that City St. George's has said to the provider to only reserve those rooms for first years. We, where we do have reserved rooms, which is not with Unite, that is with IQ and with Fresh, we have not specified that they have to be first year students. I do know a lot of the Unite options very close to our new campus are pretty much booked up completely by City St. George's, which is why we've gone
Yeah.
with the IQ City option. I think it's a really fabulous building. And there is another Unite student accommodation option, again within walking distance. Not as impressive of a building, but still a good option if you're trying to live really close to campus. I would say though, if you're looking for something super close, IQ City should be the first place that you're looking.
Perfect. Thank you.
No worries. We've got a question here from Ava. What are the starting and ending days for the summer term? So most of these contracts are going to be 51-week contracts, with the exception of our partner United at their Stratford 1 location. They do have an option for a 40-week lease. The lease terms depend on each building from each provider. You will find that generally the lease term start and end dates for those 51-week contracts are from mid-end August to middle of September. So you won't find it starting any later than middle of September, and the end date will be around the same time for those 51-week contracts. And for 40-week contracts, again, you just kind of subtract that 11 weeks from, middle of September, but you do have to get into contact with individual providers because those dates differ not just within providers, but from building to building. And we can help you get into contact and get that information from providers as well. Sorry, was there another question?
Yes, I was wondering, so on the ASU London website, it now says that since we're at City St. George, I will get access to stuff like the gym, for example. Is that
Yes, that's
included in my
correct.
tuition?
Yeah, so we are organizing that for you all as ASU London students. So there, for example, you would have two options of where you can go to the gym on campus or at your student accommodation. I think of all the options that we've listed, there is only one that doesn't have a gym on site, and that would be Urbanist Victoria. So you do have that as well as the opportunity to gym at your home. You have the opportunity to go to the gym and exercise on campus as well.
Okay, and that's free with the tuition?
Yes, it should be.
Okay, great. Thank you. Also, just one more question, sorry. Do you know how easy it is to get from East Central House by Unite to ASU London campus?
Yes, it is within walking distance. It's within a 10 to 15-minute walk at most.
Great, that's what I thought. Just double checking.
Yeah, yeah. So we do have the estimated times that it will take for you to get from each building, accommodation building listed on our site to the campus. So please do take a look at that, and it will really. You can also look it up on any Google Maps, Apple Maps. Another question here, among current ASU London students, where are most living? So this is a bit of a difficult question to answer for it to be, a useful answer, because our campus is currently at Canada Water and will be moving over the summer to a new campus in Clerkenwell. So I can't really give a good answer to that question because we don't have many students living in that area because we don't yet have our campus in that area. How many? So to give you an idea, we've got 45 rooms reserved at the IQ City building in the area where the campus is, within walking distance to the campus. So that gives you an idea of, our anticipation of how many people would be living there. That being said, we can always get more rooms if the demand shows that we need more rooms. So that's just what we've got reserved for the moment. The One Unite location is so it is the only option that we have listed that does a 40-week lease option. That's not to say that there are not other purpose-built student accommodation providers and buildings that will do a 40-week lease option. It just is a bit less likely to find than a 51-week lease option. And the reason being that there is a lot of people will use that location, even if they're not going to be in London for the summer, they'll use that location to store their belongings until the next year. If they're going to move somewhere else, they'll at least have that space to store everything over the summer. But our programs are designed to fit into the semesters as they are. It doesn't require you're not required to do summer school. That being said, there's a lot of other things to do in the summer. So by all means, if you don't have programming for your degree, there's so much to do in London and in the UK in the summer. Definitely the best time of year to be in London. So that is on that 40-week lease topic. And then when do you have to confirm accommodation? So typically you can, book accommodation theoretically a week before you move into it if they have availability. But just as with anything, as you get closer and closer to when when everyone would be moving in, you would find it that you have less and less options because the rooms will have already been booked. So I would, my suggestion would be as soon as possible so you can get the option that is most right for you without being restricted by, having limited options at the last minute. I think there is no true deadline of when you need to confirm your accommodation, but earlier is better. Do we have any further questions? Oh, there. Do these buildings allow a visitor to stay with the student for a vacation? So I know that visitors are allowed. I don't believe that visitors are allowed on a very long-term basis. Again, this is a building to building specific situation. So you are allowed to have visitors, but if what you're asking is, over the summer break, can I have somebody come to live with me for 3 months? I would say the answer to that is likely no for a lot of reasons. Those rooms are really only designed for one person to live in them. There's a whole host of security risks that can come with having somebody who's not on the lease living long term for, more than a quick stay over. But again, these providers will have their own very specific rules, and even buildings have different rules about, what time does the gym close, how the process of signing a visitor in. All of these things are very building specific and provider specific. Happy to get you into contact with any of those providers. So if the ones that you are truly interested in, you can ask them all these very detailed questions. Are there two-person rooms? So we do not have a lot in London in general. There are not a lot of options for two-people rooms. There is, there are a few that have a setup of two-bedroom apartments, which are basically the same thing as a ensuite room, but you're sharing a bathroom and a kitchen between like two bedrooms. So instead of it's the same as a studio room, except you have two bedrooms sharing one mini kitchen and one bathroom. But those are very you know very seldomly you don't see them a lot across the board in London student accommodation. But it's definitely more similar to, that US style of like sharing a dorm where you've like actually got multiple beds in one room. We don't really have see a lot of those at all. I haven't personally seen one in all the buildings that I've visited where you actually have two beds in one room. Who do we speak with for further assistance in finding and securing housing? Well, you can definitely talk to one of us here from the ASU London team. Could I just ask the ASU London team to kind of turn on their cameras and microphones and just make themselves known? You can always contact us through our contacts on the website, and we'll direct you to the appropriate people. But we've got Victoria here. We've got, Fred, who works with us. He is based at ASU in Arizona, but anyone is, happy to help and provide as much information and assistance as they can. You can always get in touch with the right people by contacting us on, via the contacts on the website, and we will feed you through to exactly who you need to be speaking with. If you are already been speaking with an enrollment advisor, they're a great person to go to as well, and they'll, if they need extra information from someone else, they'll loop that person in. We all are really working as a team. And I think Victoria will provide some more specific information on accommodation inquiries specifically, but there are, like I said, a whole host of us on this team, and we're here to, provide you with assistance as much as we can.
Thank you, Sanya. I have shared a couple of email addresses that everyone can email in case you have any questions about accommodation or admissions. You can see them in the chat.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Victoria. So I'm also just going to send the link for the video because the sound unfortunately did not work. I don't think was too much missed by not having the music, but it is nice music. So I will share that for you to watch whenever you'd like to. And please feel free to, I think what's a really good way to get a sense of each of the buildings and what they're all about is you can, through our accommodation page, actually, go and see by clicking on the name of the option that you want to explore. You can go to the provider's website and they have, the detail, like as detailed as possible, everything about that specific building. And they will also have, for those ones that are not preferred rates with ASU London, they will also have their pricing there, and that will be the way that you book your rooms with them if they're not a partner of ours with preferred rates. Will you be sending us the link to this? To the accommodation site? Is that the question? Oh, the video. Yes, I've just sent it in the chat. Can everyone see the link to the video? Right. Well, thank you everyone for taking the time to join us here today. Of course, any other questions that pop up, please feel free to get into contact, and we'll do our best to provide you with clearer answers or put you in touch with people who can provide the best answers. We will also be, putting forward some student groups so that if people want to find accommodation, Discord, if people want to find accommodation together, that will be through those channels. Victoria's giving some info on that now. We will also put that that information with all of our enrollment advisors and people that you would be in contact with at ASU London as a prospective student, so you can the Discord is already up. Wonderful. So Victoria has said that this information will be shared as soon as possible. And I think that would be a great way for you all to, if you want to ensure that you're in the same flat block as certain people, that's a great way to kind of meet people. So you know that you'll be with a fellow ASU London student, and you can even make requests, which the providers do generally accommodate to the best of their ability, to put you in the same flat blocks next to each other. And I think it's a great thing to have actually a mix of having some ASU London students and students from other universities all living together, because your network just grows, and it's super fun to sometimes meet people who are going through a different experience than you, and you get to kind of compare notes and enjoy that building a friendship. I haven't used Discord previously. So Victoria, I might let you answer this question on the kind of information, because from my understanding, it's just to connect the students.
Yes, it's used mainly for that. Students will be able to connect using Discord.
Great, yeah. So this is kind of a platform for you to connect with the students that you would be at ASU London with, and start to get to know each other a bit and decide about living together if you'd like to in the same buildings. All right. Since we are almost 10 minutes over, I think we will end the session there. Thank you everyone for attending, and please don't hesitate to reach out with any further questions. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.